Up, my man? Look at that.
I'm gonna pack it more though.
Oh, hell yeah. We are live now. Welcome, everybody, to the One Shot Killer's first live stream. We are glad and thankful for everybody on here. And a big reason of why we're doing this is because we have just finally hit over 100 followers on Instagram and Twitter. So we are bringing to you a new platform. Y'all got us to 100 on Insta, 100 on Twitter. I know y'all can get us 100 on YouTube.
I'm sorry if you hear barking in the background. My dog is right next to the damn window.
Oh, you're all good, bro. I got dogs too. It happens.
He doesn't shut up. He's a little small one. You could probably hear him because I hear him like fucking crazy. Let me turn that on. Well, I'm gonna hit it right
But my
now.
chihuahua is like that. All right, three, two, one.
Shit. I just got clouded out.
Oh,
Hold on.
oh shit. Hey, bro, you want to hear something awesome?
Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm gonna bring that dog in.
All right. Oh, well, shit, y'all. I got some big news to tell y'all when he comes back. And when he comes back, ooh, best believe we got something really exciting for y'all. Okay. Hey, Eli, how's it going, sir?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just over here smoking while JoJo goes to do something real quick.
All right. Are you guys live right now?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how's everybody going? This is Eli Guidey of the Midwest Mars podcast. Stopped by to talk with Brandon and JoJo. These guys are pretty awesome, funny guys. Have so much fun talking with them on my podcast. Enjoy this episode. These guys are energized and have the right heart for this. Their podcast has been hilarious. I've listened to some of the episodes. You guys rock, and I hope you enjoy. Keep on going. Don't stop. I know how it gets. It gets hard sometimes. Keep going. Keep learning, and keep that fire and passion for professional wrestling.
Thank you so much. That means everything to me, truly. And, it has been hard at first getting started because I can't tell you how many times we've started and restarted. But when we finally found out our rhythm and what works for us, that's when things started to click. And as we were just thanking everybody before Joe did what he had to go do, we had just reached 100 followers on Insta and on Twitter. And for the one shot killer stuff. And it's crazy to me because I never seen it going this far. When we first started it, it was we would write down ideas all the time about how we could fix WWE and the storylines we would write, the character development and stories we would have came up with. And we believed in that so
My
much. We
bad,
said, hey,
guys.
we're going to take this further. And welcome back to the stream, Joe.
What up?
And I'm telling them a little bit of how we got started. Joe, when we started this and we are talking about how we could fix WWE, it was before the pandemic. It was
Yeah.
before it got even worse in all the releases. Do you still think that there's a chance that the WWE can turn this all around and fix itself to be what it once was?
Not really. I don't know. I have too much like negative to them because they keep doing stupid shit, and I think they're gonna change, and they never do.
Sure. And what
That's
about
just
yourself, Eli?
Vince.
Yeah, I think they have been set in their ways for a while. There were a few flickers where it looked like they were going to change stuff up. I remember talking about yesterday the new era. They when Finn Balor was given the push straight out of coming up from NXT. That seemed like that was like the last true attempt by WWE to try something new, try something different, and go with the more that style that everybody craves today. But no, they're going back to their old ways and they're regressing, and it's because Vince McMahon does not want to roll over or doesn't want to give up his, the keys, I guess you could say. He doesn't even trust Triple H, who has shown that he can, lead a brand, lead a company, and has been putting in the years of work. He's just going to give it to Nick Khan. So, no, I don't think WWE can change for the better. It's kind of too late.
True, and that makes me really upset because when I looked at the start of 2021, NXT had to be the best thing about WWE. And then, not even a couple months later, when we see it get turned to 2.0, all the guys we liked they get fired, and some of the reasons we heard were they're too short, they were too big, and this hits to me and Joe directly. I'm a little bigger of a boy, and Joe he's 5'4", and we're thinking all these reasons of why we love wrestling are being thrown away because now they're saying, look, to be in WWE, you got to be 7 foot, you got to be a certain weight class, and if you're not, you're just not going to succeed here. And Vince McMahon made that message very clear. And then I finally went ahead and I decided to watch the Braun Breaker entrance because I haven't watched any NXT 2.0 since the very first episode. So I went on YouTube and I Googled that or searched it. And when I seen that Braun Breaker takes down the old NXT logo and then kicks down that X with the foam thing, I was like, man, this is a direct shot at Triple H. Everything he tried to do is just being tossed away, all because of this loss to ratings in the AEW Wednesday Night War, which WWE said they didn't care about.
Bull crap, they do. They acknowledge our AEW, as you can see over here.
Oh, yes, sir. And, AEW, on the other hand, they got me excited. I can tell you a dream match for me right now is Sting versus Malachi Black, Darby Allin versus Malachi Black, Brody King being involved. I could see that telling a dark, twisted story. And you could even really bring in guys like Wyndham Rotunda in this, to where if he was an addition to that, it would be so amazing.
I still can't believe they let him go, man.
Oh,
yeah, I'm really upset. They dropped Aleister Black, Malachi in the middle of a storyline, which could have been the son of Undertaker. I think that's the story they were about to get ready to tell. And I was like, okay, that's something that I would actually be interested in. That's something that you can bring Undertaker back without being in ring, and you push continue the legacy. But no, he got fired during a segment, pretty much, and now we've got
the way they've done AEW with Sting and Darby. You could have done that with Taker and Aleister.
You really could have. It's sad. And Wyndham too, like Bray Wyatt. And I've said this multiple times on different shows. Those two guys, even if you don't use them in ring, the wealth of creativity just in those two minds could fuel a company for years, and they just fired them.
Especially Bray. He's got the mind, man. Like, who would not want Bray on their show?
Exactly.
And then that makes me, interested, right? Because we've all heard the rumors and reports. He's either going to Impact, he's going to AEW. But then I'm thinking, wait, a full creative freedom, Wyndham with Rotunda, how amazing that would be. Because we've seen some of his creative freedom in WWE when The Fiend first started, then they slowly took it away from him. And I would say by WrestleMania 37, when we see the heel turn by Alexa Bliss and stuff, I knew if he didn't get released, that character would have been dead anyways. It was already falling apart because of Goldberg, but it really fell apart right there for me. And I'm thinking, now this might be a little random, but I was watching something earlier where they said potential Royal Rumble returns. We've seen Impact knockout women's champion Mickie James being in the Royal Rumble, and then that makes people think, hey, these release guys could come back because the Rumble, because they don't have enough people to book a whole show plus the Royal Rumble match.
See, I don't know if I would want Bray to return because look how they did him, man. Like, What, just for some money? No, go to AEW, go to Impact, go somewhere that actually values you and doesn't make you a jobber.
I
True,
mean,
Eli. I'm gonna ask you if one, which company would you bring Wyndham into, and how would you tell that story of him coming in?
I'll get to that. I wanted to kind of piggyback off what JoJo was saying. Yeah, we've seen somebody that has been fired and brought back. Samoa Joe, he was brought back, and now he got fired again. And it looked like he was getting positioned to be in that backstage role. They didn't. They no. He was associated with Triple H, so he got let go. William Regal associated with Triple H, he got let go. Guys who have been putting in the years and are really still great at their job, just because they were part of NXT Black and Gold, that's not that's not good business. That's stupid and rage filled, revenge filled business moves right there. That's not good business, and that's why WWE is not going to change. Now for Wyndham, of course, AEW. There's that connection with Brody Lee sitting right there, and I think that would make the Dark Order, bring back the Dark Order when Brody Lee first reinvigorated them. They were just a massive threat to AEW. Having Brody be that linchpin, like that remembers, like, hey, we used to be badass. We used to almost run AEW. We ran Cody Rhodes and Brandy out. I wanted to see that Dark Order back, and I think the person to do that is Wyndham Rotunda.
I totally agree, man. I don't see Bray's stuff being good in Impact, and that's not like a diss to it because I love Impact. I watch them every Thursday. I just don't see Bray fitting in that show. Maybe Karrion Kross. I see Cross, but I heard he's not going back there either. So
No, he burned some bridges, him and Scarlett, with Impact, and Impact definitely has that a lot of going for it. But I think they need to restructure whatever they. I mean, I know they got the X division, which is great. They got the kind of, they need to change something up and to get people excited as far as what their presentation is. That's what I think Impact needs. But they're working with WWE right now, so we'll see what they do.
Absolutely. And, going back to Samoa Joe, I think it's messed up he even got released the first time because when you go back to WrestleMania 37, Joe was actually there. He stood out in the rain and still broadcasted this show. And, Joe, he eventually had to go home because the rain was worse than what it was presented on TV. And when you think about that, how are you going to release a guy not even a week later, and they did the same to Billy Kay? Oh,
do that too. Hold on.
So if you guys are, this is just the audio. I am wearing a Dark Order mask right now.
Evil Uno.
Yes, sir.
Be one with the Dark Order.
Oh, no way, Joe. You got one too, bro.
This is when I got it at.
Join us. Join us.
And touching on Brody Lee earlier too, me and Joe have discussed the Brody Lee tribute show a good handful of times because it's something that really rocked us. I think in the sense of we haven't seen a full time passing since I think Benoit, and when you on them, and when you go from that a long stretch to where active wrestlers aren't dying early anymore, and then all of a sudden Brody goes from being on TV to off TV, nobody knows why, and then to pronounced dead, and we of course find out why. What was that finding out that news like for you, and what did Brody Lee's passing mean for you?
Man, wearing this Dark Order mask just means a whole lot more now. I was just joking around, but yeah, Brody, he was someone in WWE I didn't really pay attention to, and I knew he was part of the Wyatt family. I was just okay, he's Bray's lackey, whatever. I never knew the man behind the character, and we saw so much of him when he joined AEW. I looked at him in a whole new light. I found out what people thought about him backstage. I found out about his family. I found out how much he meant to people. And when I was just getting interested, and I wanted him to, win the AEW championship, I wanted Dark Order to, reach that top peak because it was original. And we found out he passed. That was really heartbreaking. And I still today I wish his family nothing but blessings. I'm glad AEW has embraced his family. Are keeping them close. I love that, and I like that the Dark Order that they put on, if not the best, one of the best tribute shows in professional wrestling ever. In that tribute show, and I'm not afraid to say it, I was bawling and crying at from start of the show to finish because that show meant something. It was from the heart, and that's what wrestling is about, giving everything you got. So that was very special, and we definitely miss Brody Lee.
Same, and that was mine and Joe's reaction. He actually called me bawling his eyes out, and when he told me, I had to sit down and just be by myself because I was like, I can't believe this. I just seen the guy on TV a few weeks ago, and he looked perfectly fine. And then you find out it's the day after Christmas, and he does have an 8-year-old son, and I think his son who's like 3 or 4, and that just hits on a whole different level. But you find out that his family meant everything to him, and so did this business, and he helped guys like John Silver get hired with AEW. And he selected him personally to be in the Dark Order because he seen something in him. I think it's kindness and generosity that Brody Lee showed in both his professional and personal life that I wish the wrestling world had more of.
Yeah, see, like I remember, like you said, like I called you and crying, all that stuff, man. I remember being on Facebook, just I thought it was a joke. I really did. I kept going past it, and I refreshed, and then it was all over my stuff, man. Like it was everywhere, and I just started crying because I really wanted to see this guy. Like I remember when he had a match against Randy Orton at Elimination Chamber 2017, one of my favorite matches of him, bro. He came out and he gave us his all, and I still wish he had the world title match, but at least he got the TNT. That's all that matters.
True, and I think it's good that he showed that he's not just a side guy. He's not just a tag team guy. He can go somewhere and be somebody. And I wish that would inspire more people beyond wrestling. Just because you're held to a certain spot doesn't mean you got to stay there. If you put in that work and that determination, you can go as far as you want to go.
Oh, most definitely. There's some people in WWE right now. I know that there was one interview with Xavier Woods saying, "Yeah, no, if you come to the WWE, you might not get a match, but don't be afraid to sit in catering room." I'm like, that's not the attitude you should have. You should. I want to give 110%, show what I got, bust my ass, and I should get results. That's how it's supposed to work. And I know that he's probably towing the WWE line, but that is what he did. That's what Brody did. He showed what he could do. He came to AEW and put in all the work he could, and everyone, and I mean everyone, respected him for it. It is a shame that he never became AEW champion, but he did something I know that he was proud of. He kept going, and he showed that he is more than just a lackey, just somebody's sidekick. He went out there and busted his ass, and that's why we love him so much.
Absolutely.
And
And
he loved his
Joe,
children.
I want to get your opinion on this. If he was still around, do you think he would be the AEW World Champion as of today?
Yeah,
It very well could have been. I think with the right story, especially with the Hangman story, that was already in tow. I think that could have he would have probably been the first, if not the first, or maybe one of the opponents after Hangman won the title. Because I was expecting, like, after Hangman has reached the height of heights, thanks to the Dark Order a little bit, who reinvigorated him and wanted to be there for him. All right, the Dark Order turns on them and they take what they want in being the AEW World Championships. I think that would have been interesting to see right after Brody was still around.
and that would have been incredible. You have Brody take the title, and you keep that going, and then you have I'd say Hangman kind of lose a swagger because Hangman, he admits he's an anxious millennial cowboy, and so you take that. I can tell you personally, from mental health, there are some days you're up, there are some days you're down, and I believe losing the title. To keep that story going and keep true to this character that they are trying to tell with Hangman is that he didn't believe in himself, then he did. There's going to become a time when he loses that title and that swagger is going to go away because right now he's riding the championship high. And I think the Dark Order would have brought that out. And the funny thing is, with the Dark Order, you're bringing out that darkness at Hangman slowly, and then that way you can build a couple months up to a heel turn. And then I would have had the opposite of Kenny face and then Hangman heel match. And
He won.
so, and I want to get y'all's opinions on this too. What do you think about? I just seen in the news, cannabis being able to fight COVID.
That's the first time I'm
I
hearing
actually
it,
did just
and
see that.
Yeah,
wow.
apparently, cannabis compounds like CBD, CBN, CBG, it blocks the receptors to where cannabis can enter the body. I mean, not cannabis, COVID can enter the body. And so, what that does in return is it acts kind of like a shield. So it prevents it a little bit. Now, I'm not going to say it's 100% confirmed because there would have to be more medical testing, but when I seen that in the news today, I was thinking, okay, you know what? If you're not um, if you're not a somebody who is um, for cannabis, or you haven't been shown maybe enough evidence, I think this is something that if it has actual fact and proof to it, it could really get legalization up like never seen.
Hey,
I
if it's
agree.
something, oh, what?
You can, oh.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I do agree that it helps out a lot because I have Tourette's and it made it basically go away. So I know it does help. So I believe the COVID, honestly, I really do because I haven't really got it and I smoke all the time. So it's like, I guess I'll keep doing my smoking.
Sure. And what about you, Eli? What's your personal opinions on that?
I think about it, to be honest.
I, for one, I don't partake, but I do have a family member who does, and if it helps, and everyone is try different things, especially with this terrible sickness that's going around. If it helps or it opens airways or stops COVID from coming in, that's fine. I don't need protection though. I've got this thing right here, so I mean, I'm good. This will protect me. This good old Goldie right here, so I'll be fine. Guys, I gotta go, but it has been a pleasure talking with you guys. And again, I invite you guys to be a part of this Rumble thing that we got going on. I think we're going to get the Rumble watch along. But if you guys predict the men's and women's Royal Rumble, and then whoever's going to win, and if you get it right, you have a shot to win our Markout Championship. This is not the Markout Championship. This is just an AEW replica belt. So, but I invite you guys. I definitely want to be back on the show when I have more time. I definitely want to see you guys again. You guys are awesome. You guys have a great chill mentality. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow the One Shot Killers podcast. I'll be seeing you guys real soon.
Thank you so very much, and
Thanks, man. I
shout
appreciate
out to y'all and the Mids Marks podcast. And we always love having you guys on, and we want to definitely be a part of your Royal Rumble watch along. If I have to say predictions, I'm going to call it right now: AJ Styles, Men's Royal Rumble; Alexa Bliss for the Women's Royal Rumble.
Okay. All right. It's on. We are live, so this is recorded. Those are your predictions, JoJo. Do you want to give your predictions right now, or do you want to wait a little bit?
I got AJ for the men's, and I think Lita's going to win and face Charlotte at WrestleMania. I don't want
All
that, but
right.
that's what I think is going to happen.
All right, good predictions. Good predictions. I'm not going to give my predictions right now. I am waiting to see as we get closer to to the Royal Rumble. But all right, we got you guys' predictions. You guys are in the Royal Rumble watch along match, and good luck. You could be the face of the Midwest Marks podcast. That might be weird, but we'll figure that out at a later date. All right, guys. See you later, and have a great rest of your
Thanks,
show.
man.
Thank you. You have a good
Later.
one as well.
Mark out.
And
What
man, I
up,
love
man?
having them on, being a part of their show, and just getting to talk to them is so incredibly cool, bro. But I didn't know you had the Evil Uno mask. When did you get that?
When I went to Double or Nothing, I picked it up, and I also picked up the flag, the AEW flag, and then the other one, the Cody Rhodes flag type. That's what it is,
Hmm.
I think. Yeah, it's like a nightmare.
Oh, for the Nightmare Family.
Yeah, and then I also got the AEW World Title, which should be right here.
Oh, bro, you know you got to defend that thing.
See, that's another thing. Like, I seen wrestling fans do this at like shows. Like, they'll be like, "My title's on the line. Anyone wants to challenge me?" And then someone comes up and rolls them up and takes their belt. We gotta do that. I'm not even
Bro, that's
joking.
what you got to do. Become the belt collector like Kenny Omega.
Just roll up people
Um,
with that come to the show with their belts and just take that shit.
True. And so what I would do is I would come up with the smokers championship, right? If you can outsmoke me, you win the title. If you can't, I'm still the champion. That's how that would work.
That'd be awesome, dude. It's good.
Let's see. So,
We have some of the coolest neighbors, though, man. I do want to say that.
oh, what I got here for you. Now, these are actually collectibles, bro. That's why I ain't opened them. You ever heard of Garbage Pail Kids?
Yeah.
All right, they collided with WWE, and there's the Ultimate Warrior. Um, then I got Andre. See if I can't move it closer to the camera. There we go. And then I got old Stone Cold. What? Gonna drink beer. What? Gonna kick your ass. What?
That's
And
funny, though,
then,
man. But, I have
oh
some of the coolest
yeah.
neighbors. That's awesome.
And then this is the only AEW merch I have, bro. It is the first AEW Chris Jericho to come out, and I got it. And
Le
somewhere this little hat.
Champion.
But yeah, man, Le Champion. And um, you hear it going off already?
I have some of the coolest neighbors, though, man. Like,
What happened?
They just moved in, like, next door.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to go, like, how I had to go take the dog out or bring the
Yep.
dog in. So I go out there, and there's this lady with 3 plates of pasta, and she didn't need it anymore, I guess, because she's like, "We have so much, we wanted to give you guys some because we're neighbors now." And I was like, "Damn, thank you." Like,
That
3
is,
plates of this shit.
man, that is so sweet. That is like I had got a concussion 2019, the day before Thanksgiving. Still worked an 8-hour shift with a concussion, couldn't remember shit, and they wouldn't let me go to the hospital. So I had to wait till after work. I go to the hospital after work, and I find out I have a concussion and amnesia. And I come home, and I guess my neighbors found out about it. They baked all kinds of sweets and stuff. They sent them over my way, and they were just like, "Hey, man, you've always been really good. You help out a lot with us shoveling the driveway and stuff. We just wanted to stop by, make sure you're okay, and say here you go."
Damn, that's awesome right there. That's some good people.
Absolutely. And that's what this world needs more, man, is love. And I when I was saying that about Brody Lee, I was just thinking about the wrestling business, but honestly, I think you can find some people say you don't, but if you go outside and you take a walk, you can find so many amazing people who want to help you. I've lost my dogs before because they get out and run around when we lived in town. And a lady drove by. She seen me chasing after him. She seen I couldn't catch up to him. She grabbed the dogs and then gave me a ride home. And I thanked her so much. I tried to pay her. She's like, no, don't worry about paying me. Just go and give another act of kindness to somebody else.
That's awesome. Because
Mhm.
there's people out there that like they want money after doing something, which I'm not gonna say I wasn't ever like that as a kid, but as an adult so far, I haven't really done that. If I'm doing something, it's doing it, not to get something out of that.
Absolutely, and that's the way I am. I gave people my last $20 because I see in a homeless family with kids, and for me, $20 is great. $20 can do some things, not a lot as it used to, but at the same time, a man only needs so much money, in my opinion. So if I know you need it more than I do, I'll give you the shirt off my back. Here you go. But I can't ever be the person to let somebody suffer because I know what it's like to be without. So my thing is, I don't want you to be without. So I want to give you. That way, I know you're good, I'm good, and that's just how that works. And
I agree,
I
and
gotta ask
I,
you as the Royal Rumble and Revolution is coming up. There's gonna be something a surprise, even with WWE announcing stuff. I think there's gonna be something that they haven't, and I want to see potentially, whether it's WWE or AEW, who is not on TV right now that you really want to see go somewhere for their immense talent? I know for you, it's probably going to be mostly towards AEW, but where would you send these guys and who would it be?
it wouldn't just be AEW, but I want some people to go to Impact. I
Mhm.
think Tony Storm could do good in Impact. Because
Oh,
think about it. AEW doesn't really like they need women. I'm not gonna lie, but Impact needs it more.
oh, absolutely. And Impact definitely needs it more. I see their show is kind of still. It's not what it used to be. If you watched in 2005, it's not the same company at all. And I really think the wrestling world has so much free talent right now that if Impact didn't scoop up a handful of them, they'd be fucking crazy. So when you think about, I want to say Ember Moon, I could see her going. Um, and then if not Cross, because he did burn his bridge with Impact, I see him going to GCW. But Keith Lee, that's a name. Impact, AEW, GCW, New Japan don't matter. He is gonna be something, and he will be
Just take
champion.
that man and boost him to the moon because he is
Bask in
limitless.
his glory,
He's limitless. Fuck,
limitless.
limitless. Yeah, you know he's all about that money.
Yes, sir. And he's somebody, bro. And you got to think wherever he goes, Mia Yim, you're also probably getting. So,
And I feel she didn't get that good. Like she basically gave herself up, which was awesome for her boyfriend. Like she gave up her spot in the Royal Rumble for him to keep him safe and stay home with him, which is wonderful. I love that. That's actually
mhm,
wonderful. But it's like she never really got an opportunity. And then as soon as we thought she was gonna come back, boom, she's fired. Which just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you fire someone that cared about her husband more than her own career? Like that should be someone you boost up, but they didn't.
you know, I wish I had an honest answer to give, but I just hear the Vince McMahon answer in my head going, well, she costed me money. I had to find somebody else to put her in the Rumble because she didn't want to show up for work.
It's so funny but true. But it's still like props to her, man. Fuck her career. Let her save her husband. Like I'll take that. She became a hero to all of us after she did that.
Absolutely,
Like
absolutely. And she showed that, family comes before wrestling. You know, like God forbid, Joe. If we were in pro wrestling and one of our family members were to get hurt or whatever, I'm taking that time off. I'm gonna be with your family or my family, don't matter which one. I'm gonna make sure we're all good because you can make a lot of money in life and you can go a lot of places. Wrestling will take you a lot of places, but all that shit is not important. At the end of the day, it's your family and the people you love.
Agreed, because even Brian said this true. Like, he left his family thinking they were all going to be there still. And then his dad died, and he wasn't there to see him because he was wrestling for Vince McMahon, which I don't understand why Vince wouldn't give him that off. Maybe he didn't ask for it, but even then, as a boss, I would have said, "Yo, take it off." Like,
Well,
that's
that also reminds me. I mentioned his name very briefly, but Benoit. He said Father's Day one year. His son had said this on the Chris Van Vliet show that he wanted to be there with his family. All he could think about was taking the time off to be with his kids. But wrestling works like this, and it still does. And if anybody says it doesn't, Finn Balor is a good example. And that's if you take time off, injury, family, deaths, anything, you take that time off, your spot is taken when you get back, and you're not getting it back. Finn Balor got injured 2016. We get shown when he comes back. Guess what? Fuck you, pal. And then,
I was in the building, man. They were chanting, "We want Balor" when Brock was in the ring. Like, nobody else was getting cheered but this man. And
right.
he's a as they would say, I'm not saying this, a vanilla midget, which shut the fuck up. He's not a vanilla midget. He's a athlete that's actually better than half the guys on their roster.
And then true, but I just hear Vince going, "Ain't nobody better than Roman Reigns, pal."
Good shit. Psych.
And you think about this too. All right, when they brought Finn Balor back up to the main roster after going back to NXT, I thought, okay, you know what? We fucked up, but we can fix it. We're gonna make him good again on NXT. They did, and when he comes back, we're gonna give him the run that he deserved that we didn't give him. And then Extreme Rules 2021 happened.
That's still something I hate talking about because damn it, Cena, you got my boy Balor.
True, because it would have happened at Money in the Bank instead. And I wonder too, how much I don't know who decides this is a good idea, but what if God cost him the match because God loves Roman? Yeah,
God did help out Vince in 2006, if you remember.
I do, and I remember him upsetting a lot of Christians. I'm a baptized Catholic, and it's funny to me that so many people they were ready to kill Vince, and because it was insulting and offensive. But for me, it's like, man, I thought it was funny. I don't know about you, but I tend to laugh at a lot of things. Though that's me. I can make anything comedic like this. This is adorable but funny to me. Cat just had to say meow, 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 meow,
He
meow.
was like all over my foot, man. I was like, all right, cat, chill. You got an hour and 14 minutes till you eat. He knows
True.
9 o'clock, and he knows. Like, he'll walk around like Brock Lesnar, circling my fucking table, like dun 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 dun.
That reminds me of when me and you were doing the show one time. Your cat, you could be clear as day, going meow.
Bro, he's like a human. I say this all the time, and people don't believe me, but this cat is a human. He's a human cat at times because he understands what I say. I feel like it's weird. Like, it's not
Mhm.
weird, but it's weird.
No, it's perfectly normal. My pit bull, when she gets let out, she knows to go straight downstairs and go potty. All right. And then when she's hungry, she'll make all kinds of noise and stuff, and she'll be telling you, "Hey, I'm hungry. Come feed me, motherfucker." And then same with the dog too. Chihuahuas, I don't know why. At least mine really love cheese, and so anytime she smells melted cheese, she'll start whining, like, "I want some. I want some." Okay, fine. Here, take some cheese.
That's funny though, man. Like I swear he's about to jump up on this chair any minute. You'll see him just like randomly appear because he looks like he's about to
True.
jump on me.
I wish we had been doing this the day you had just put your couch in your room because you said that cat was glued.
He still is, man. Look, how do you change the camera to make it look the other
Um,
way?
I have no idea, buddy. I
Well, I'm not
honestly
gonna
don't.
mess with it, but do you see this spot right here?
Yes, I do. Right in the corner.
Yeah, that's where he's sleeping, and that's where I sleep every day or every night.
Well, you see, and that's because the cat goes, "Oh man, Joe's comfortable. He's warm, and that spot's comfortable. Okay."
He really does, man. It's funny. But do you want to take
And
another hit off the bong?
oh hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Let me pack this motherfucker.
What?
What?
What? He's gonna pack the
Actually, I'm gonna
bong. What?
bong.
He's gonna take a
This
little
one.
hit. What? Oh, he's got his little baby bong. What?
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 It's gonna hit me harder. What?
What? Joe's gonna get all fucked up before we finish the show. What?
Is this going? Is this on YouTube right now? You said, or
Yes, it is.
see, that's awesome. Like I never thought I would be able to get on YouTube.
Bro, I never thought I'd smoke on YouTube. But hey, you know what? First time for everything. Look at that beautiful bud.
It's not the greatest, but it gets me. It gets me going places.
Hey man, and that's all it's got to put you. Like I got teeny weeny ass amount in this cart left, but you know what? It's gonna put me where I need to be.
I can be grateful that I at least have it, because I'd be pissed if I didn't have weed, man.
True, and we've discussed this on the audio show. I'm gonna discuss it here. Weed is just as much medicine as a pill or liquid, whatever way you consume your medicine. I used to be on 10 pills a day for anxiety, depression, all kinds of shit, the whole 9 yards. And I can tell you now that smoking has fixed a lot of things in my life, bro. I am not on 10 medications a day anymore. I'm just smoking and that's it. And I find myself a lot happier. How do you personally feel on a day-to-day basis with and without weed, and what was life like before it?
When I don't have it, I'm not gonna say I'm a. It's a harder like. When I don't have it's just life is stressor though. Like I'm not gonna say like it's the end of the world. Like I'm gonna die. I'm not. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like I like to have it because, like I said, nighttime is where I really need it. During the day, I'm good. Like I can go the whole day without it, as long as there's nothing going on and no one's pissing me off, or I'm having like one of those. Like I'm human. Everyone's gonna have a bad day. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the way you do it. When I'm on
And that
bud, I'm good.
and that's how I can be. There's more mental issues than what I had previously mentioned, but I can get pretty heated sometimes for no reason. I could be going from zero to hero in a minute. And the weed and the CBD, whichever I can get on my hands on, um, it stabilizes my mood. I calm down, I relax, and I feel like nothing can piss me off. Weed helps a little bit more than the CBD, but it just depends on what works for you. And Joe, with your Tourette's, I've known you for 10 years. I can tell the man I'm looking at right now is different from the man I met 10 years ago. Because Joe, 10 years ago, if we had started the show, I don't know if you really would have wanted to do it.
Yeah, like I got diagnosed with this in 2012,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a rough time, man. I went places and I didn't want to be there because I had noises. Like I would make noises. I would. It's a lot different now because of Mary Jane, and I'm gonna say that straight up because honestly, ever since I was on a pill, like you said, I was on a pill for the Tourette's, and it made me go to sleep, and it didn't do nothing else. Like that's the only thing it made me do was tired. And then I smoked weed in 2014, and I was happier, but it was on and off through then. Now when I started every day was 2017. Ever since then, this is my savior. This is my drug, as people want to say, but it's not a drug to me. This is
It's
medicine.
medicine. And
Always will
you
be. I mean,
know,
10 years ago, that's different, but it ain't like this now.
true. And I got diagnosed with chronic migraines and stress-induced migraines, and they would do one of three things. One, they would make me black out. Two, they would make me real angry, and three, if it got too bad, they'd make me pass out. And we were at a party one time because my friends had just moved into their house, and so it was like a little welcome thing. And I had to leave because my migraines were getting so bad from all the noise and loud music and stuff. I had to leave, and I remember having to take a pill to go to bed. And I told myself, I'm 17 at the time. I should not have to be on 10 pills a day to function normally. You know what I mean? That's just a little bit fucking crazy. I don't expect to be there till I'm 50. All right. So, my brother, we're walking around a lake one time, and he says, "Hey, man, you ever smoked before?" I said, "No." He goes, "You want to smoke?" Okay. Makes a pipe out of aluminum foil, puts the weed in there, lights it, hands it to me. Oh shit! And when I tell you, man, I've been facing depression since I was 6 years old. I mean that. And for some reason, that that lake it changed. It's like the whole sky and the sun and the lake and the trees that they all got more brighter, and everybody was happier. I was happier, and I remember feeling so good. I did not ever want this feeling to stop. It's kind of like that feeling of I died and went to heaven, something kind of like that.
Yeah, weed is for sure something that I'm very grateful in the world because I used to hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I had no reason why I hated it. I hated it. I
Hmm.
tried it with my cousin Bobby,
Hmm.
fell in love. Like I'm telling you, that was the second thing in my life between wrestling and weed. Those are the two things I love the most. Wax is
And
the same. Really think about it, but
mhm,
I'm a pothead more than really smoke wax. Which wax is great, but I love my plant, and I always will.
true. So I tend to smoke more wax and carts, but when I'm able to get my hand on the bud, and that's just because Minnesota has growing seasons, whereas Florida you can grow all year long. So for me, when I am able to get my hands on bud, I love it. But wax and carts are more predominant, and it's a lot stronger than regular bud, but for me, it's all about the flavors, and I'd say the wax really brings out the flavor a little bit more. And
You ready, bro?
yes, sir. And then after this, just so you have the question in your head, so you have time to think about it. What made you fall in love with pro wrestling, and and who was the superstar that you first hooked onto?
First, it was John Cena. To be honest, I'm gonna be honest. Like that was my
Mhm.
first. Like, actually, no, Randy. I was a Randy Orton guy, man. Like I didn't care what he did. He could fucking kick a girl straight in the head, and I would cheer him. Like when he punted, or not? I think he punted Stephanie. Didn't he punt Stephanie, or was it Shane?
He RKO'd her and he handcuffed
That's
Triple H to the rope, and then he kissed like
kissed her.
unconscious Stephanie in front of Triple H.
That was such a Randy I liked. But what made me fall in love with it was Shawn versus Flair when I was there. That was the match that truly made me like, because like I was younger when Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn faced, so I can't really say I
Mhm.
fell in love with them. I fell in
Mm.
love with the company with Sean versus Flair. There was just a storytelling to it, and the match. I could watch it over and over, not just because I was there, man. It was great. And the ending,
True.
when everyone cried, man.
As a kid, I imagine you didn't understand why they were crying, though. But we're gonna hit this first, real quick.
Ooh,
But bro, so now, you were in the building for WrestleMania 24. Um, oh wait, what just happened? But yeah, bro, you were in the building for WrestleMania 24. I was right down the road. The tickets had just sold out before we were able to get ours. So I was in my aunt's hotel room down the road, and I remember, around that time, you know, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair, my favorite match of that card, and the one that I remember being glued to the seat. I was probably about, I don't know, 7 or 8. And for me, I'm sitting there watching it. Shawn's my hero. I got into wrestling in 2003. Really, it was on the day I was born. But my first memory is WrestleMania 19, Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho, and that's when I fell in love into wrestling. Sean was my guy. I went to preschool the next day singing "Sexy Boy," trying to do the little Sean
this
dance and everything.
sexy boy, boy.
I'm not your
Kurt Angle
boy, boy.
song to it, hilarious. I'm
And
sexy Kurt. I'll make
I'll
your
make your
ankle
ankle
hurt,
hurt.
ankle hurt.
And
It was hilarious,
so
man.
that's when I fell in love with wrestling. But WrestleMania 24 and that match with Rick really held a special place in my heart. And I wasn't even in the arena. What's it like for you? Because I know you were younger too. So me and you, like, I'm thinking, I know Ric Flair from Evolution. I didn't know the 16-time world champion who was on top of WCW. So what was that reaction like for you?
When I honestly wanted Flair to win, if
Mm-hmm.
you want me to be honest, I wanted him to beat Sean, but something told me he wasn't gonna, because I just had that feeling it was the ending. And when he stood there and looked at him, and Ric Flair's like, "Come, do it, do it, do it," and he's like, "I'm sorry, I love you." Like that got me. I'm not gonna lie, that was probably one of the hardest moments when he said that, because I
Oh,
seen it
me
on the Tron.
too. And then he kicks him and he pins him and then he kisses Rick's forehead and you see Rick crying like a baby, Sean's crying, the crowd's crying, and I can't
There was
understand
grown
why
men
all these grown men are
crying,
crying.
bro. There was grown men next to me crying. So then I just started crying right after because I did feel it.
Mhm. And honestly, man, to me, it's probably one of the most perfect wrestling matches. And then you mentioned WrestleMania 20. That's my all-time favorite WrestleMania moment. Is when Eddie and Chris are hugging each other after both becoming the champions. Eddie is the WWE champion. Chris Benoit just won the World Heavyweight Championship. And these brothers, man, they've been on the road for 20 years, scraping, climbing to get to the top. They're smaller guys who weren't supposed to make it, but they were so damn good they got there. And when they give that hug, man, it's probably the most beautiful moment in all of WrestleMania history, but it's that one too, because of what happened, Eddie dying and Chris dying. You go, that's really sad to look back at too. But I can go back and I can watch it, and I can still be there watching it as a little kid and going, man, Chris Benoit won the title. I was so happy the night it happened, and I could feel that happiness again. But at the same time, I'm thinking, damn, I wish both of these men were still around. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree with you. Like to me, Ben Wall was one of my heroes, always was, and all that stuff that happened. I don't really tend to look at that. Like I look at what he's done in the business and what he did in the
Hmm.
business. He's one of the best. I really want to
Absolutely.
see. I wish I could have seen Brian versus Benoit. because that's a dream match.
Damn, that is really good. And and a dream match for me since AEW came around, Benoit versus Kenny Omega. But now, not so much Daniel Bryan is my dream match for Benoit. Bryan Danielson would be a dream match for Benoit. And I think about so many guys he could have worked with and taught. And so,
Uh,
like, here's another good one: Chris Benoit versus Finn Balor.
yes,
And
I like that.
I'm gonna pull.
Damn, man.
I'm gonna pick your mind on some fantasy booking real quick for AEW. So Revolution is pretty much figured out. Going into the next pay per view, Double or Nothing, which is still yet to be decided. What are some matches you would like to see on the Double or Nothing card after Revolution?
I want to. Well, we're obviously gonna see the Owen Hart men and women's, which I really want Serena Deeb in that match because she is one of the best technical women wrestlers, and I truly believe she could win it. And for the
True.
men, that I think
I
maybe
gotta say
Bryan
Brian
Danielson.
because
We thought the same thing, bro.
And the reason I have to say Brian is because at WrestleMania 10, uh, Bret Hart becomes the WWE champion. Yeah, it was WrestleMania 10. Bret becomes champion against facing Owen, right? And then WrestleMania 20, Chris Benoit, never great technical wrestler, becomes the world champion. WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan becomes the world champion, technical wrestler. And so technical wrestling is in that history too, but it's really the hearts. Owen, Brett, Jim D'Anville, all great technical wrestlers. Davey Boy Smith. And so I think if you're going to do this tournament, you need the best of the best pure pro wrestlers. Like, man, I wish Kurt Angle was still in his prime, bro. Because if he was to go in that fucking tournament, whoo, that would be fucking awesome. Think about that: Kurt Angle versus Bryan Danielson, both in their prime.
Jesus, man, that would be a dream match right there. I wish I could see that. Kurt's saying that he might be back.
If he comes back for one more, I'm gonna say this: Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, one of the two. And who would you
I
rather
agree,
see him face?
Brian.
Absolutely. And I think, honestly, I know Brian would carry more to match, but when you think about how good that would be, it'd be fucking awesome. It'd be like seeing Prime HBK versus Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, I agree. But hey, man, I probably got to end this now though, because I got to
All
go do
right,
some
we'll get
things.
on here later. Thank you everybody for being a part of this. Leave a comment and subscribe, and then follow us on Instagram, the One Shot Killers pod. Follow us on Instagram at One Shot Killers, and then join our Facebook group, the One Shot Killers, on there as well. And Joe, anything you want to leave the fans with?
Thank you guys for everything you're doing, and we're gonna continue to give you the best that you deserve.
Absolutely. Too sweet, my good brother, and you have a good one.
You too, brother.
And